Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Jamf After Dark podcast, a podcast to introduce you to the people at Jamf, learn about what we're up to when it comes to managing and securing Apple devices, along with what is happening in the IT landscape. I'm your co-host, Kat Garbus, joined by co-host Sean Rabbit.
Hi, Kat. It's too cold in Nevada at this point. I want you to know that. It literally snowed yesterday, and I'm ready to leave. Everyone thinks Nevada is this great place where you can like party in Vegas and it's warm and there's a pool. There's this other section. That's where I'm at.
I have no snow. I'm in Chicago. And yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that winter has arrived a bit early for you, friend.
Winter has come, or something.
Winter is
Yeah.
coming.
Wasn't there a TV show about that at some point?
That
Anyway.
was Game of Thrones. I just rewatched the whole thing because I miss House of the Dragon.
I'm sure it's available on Apple TV Plus as we speak. So life is good. But anyway, let's hop on into it instead of boring people with the weather today. Welcome to all 7 of our listeners. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about where Jamf is different in the marketplace. And we actually have, I'm outnumbered today. We have people with far more important titles than I do, which is good. So I'm going to say hello to our guest, Liz Benz, Beth Tschida, and Veronica Batista. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks for having us.
There's probably a good number of people out there in the world that just don't know all y'all and what you do here at Jamf. So let's run down the list here. So Liz, what do you do here?
I love it when people ask me that. My title technically is Chief Sales Officer, but my job is to really help and support our sales and channel friends and make sure that our customers are happy.
How about you, Beth? What do you do here?
Well, I have the privilege of being the Chief Technology Officer here at Jamf. So I have responsibility for the engineering teams. We're kind of a global engineering organization that build the products. And then I have responsibility for cloud operations, so how our infrastructure runs, customer education. So if you've checked out the Jamf Jorts, that comes from my team, as well as the Learning Hub and the things that kind of tie together the product and the experiences you have while using Jamf.
Veronica, we've obviously never done this bit before ever, but we've never met, have we? I have no idea who you are, and I've never seen you before in my life. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. This is my very first podcast, Sean. So thank you
Sure
for
it is.
welcoming me back. But for our 7 listeners, my name is Veronica. I lead our competitive intelligence program here at Jamf. So I help all parts of the organization differentiate our solutions, our offerings, our services in the market against well-known competitors as well as less known competitors.
And I think that's a really good tie-in to why we brought the big guns, why we brought you all here today. We used to be the lone soldier out there in the Appleverse. We were the only option once upon a time, and that's changed. The marketplace is so much busier. And we thought, what an awesome opportunity to kind of unpack why someone would choose Jamf, especially knowing there's, quite a menu available out there. So there's solutions out there that are cross-platform that we've, always kind of had to tell the story of why Jamf and Apple only. And then now there's some that's Apple only that's out there. And I would love to hear from each of you, your observations and what you're seeing. And if someone asked you that $1 million question, why Jamf? What would you say?
So I think there's a multitude of reasons of why people choose Jamf. If you think about where we've come from, we started in the MDM space and have moved on to both management and security with the end goal of being the market leader in Apple enterprise management. A lot of customers know us and they believe in us and they trust us. That's the main reason why people choose Jamf. There's also a couple other reasons why. In order to truly be successful with your Apple device, and organizations alike, they need to be able to both manage and secure those solutions. And we're the only company in the world that can manage and secure an Apple device in an Apple first environment. And that's really says a lot for, again, back to our trust with our customers. Also, when you look at, we have lots of competitors, and we love competition. Keeps us on our toes. Often our competitors do management really well. They might do security really well. They might do management cross-platform, but there's no one out there does management and security for Apple better than we can do. And when you look at what the market is looking at today in terms of how they want to buy and what they're looking to do, when you talk to an IT professional or a security professional, first of all, they want to make sure that their security posture is as tight as possible. Security is number one area for our customers and where they're looking to evaluate and quite frankly, invest. The other thing that they look at is there an opportunity to consolidate costs and consolidate vendors? And Jamf really brings all that to our customers as well. So not only are they like, do people know us for our good work in the market and our over 76,000 customers that we have, but they're really interested in making sure that they're getting the most for through their vendors. And I think that's one of the big reasons why they choose Jamf.
And I'll add in that from my perspective, I've worked in other places. I'm somewhat old, but I've worked in other places where we say the customer, there might be a moniker, how the customer is important. I really see it here that we live those values with how we come to market with our products. And we do a little something called same day support. We've done it for many, many years. And I get to see all the teams and how we have maniacal focus on what it means to be same day ready and how we look to prioritize when Apple innovates. Jamf celebrates is something that we take to heart. So our focus remains unwavering in how we come to market and how we support our customers with all the things that Apple delivers for us. And then the way in which we do it, our selflessness and relentless self-improvement at the team level. We have many, many teams that we're looking at how do we deliver for the customers and what do they need next. And there's a whole deliberate plan in terms of how we do that and how we drive customer value.
I want to take a quick pause and sum it up. First off, Beth, we're all old on this call. Second, it sounds like if I were to kind of boil everything down from what you're saying, reputation really matters. That we've had this long-standing reputation. People want to consolidate. There's a cost to doing business and there's a cost to doing business right. So being efficient with cost as well. And then I'm glad you brought up same-day support because I feel like that is something that we take a lot of pride in that I consider it as an unsung hero. I was actually part of a Jamf managed service provider team before I joined Jamf. And I remember that was like the top reason why we picked Jamf because we wanted to make sure that if things broke, we weren't that throat being choked. We wanted to make sure that things worked and played nice. Otherwise, our help desk was always going to just explode with this isn't working. What happened? Why did it happen? Come fix this. And it would be just a constant emergency. But we've developed so far beyond that now. Now it's not just we want things to just play nice and not make a fire. We want to make sure that you have these features. Some of these updates might be security related as well. So it's been interesting to even see that same day support really evolve and we keep that true. We haven't lost that over these years. Veronica, I want to turn it to you as well. I would love your thoughts on kind of what you're seeing differently from a competitive intelligence perspective as well and why people might be choosing us.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple of ways to think about this. For me, Jamf Nation, there's something about it that is euphoric almost. When the community comes together, I've never seen folks show Jamf so much love than when we're all together as customers and employees of Jamf. So I think the community plays a humongous role in why people choose Jamf. The other part is I think people don't understand the flexibility, the extensibility that our products offer to help you scale as a business. And so being able to deliver the amount of data that Jamf products are able to give you access to can really help you and your business make data-driven decisions, right? And so there's so much that's available for you to collect through Jamf that our competitors just simply can't do. The other thing to think about is the robust policy framework that Jamf offers in a real-time manner, right? That communication with Apple servers to the device, being able to do that in a real-time manner is what really sets us apart from some of the legacy UEM vendors that might be out there. My 2 cents.
No, I think that's important. If you have an emergency, do you want that emergency to be taken care of 24 hours later or a minute and a half later, right? I think that that kind of speaks for itself. And a lot of people may not realize that if there's someone either listening or they're reading the blog transcript of this and they're thinking to themselves, why? And I think you pointed out something very important. Why wait? We've got these live connections, these enterprise grade connections to Apple servers, and we can fix these things right now. You got something emergency that to deploy, you need a package, you need to maybe remove a user that's no longer going to be part of your organization today. No problem. You can get it done right away. Whereas I would have a hard time explaining to a security operations team why it took over a day to make any of those changes. So I think you bring up some really valid points. Sean, I know you're a co-host, but sometimes I like to make you a guest. Talk to me. What do you see from your technical lens?
Well, Liz brought up an interesting point of like everyone's always known us as a management company up to this point, right? I don't think we're a management company anymore. I think this is a security company. Just hard stop. Like you have to have control over the endpoints as your basis of security. You have to know what's going on your endpoints. You have to know who's using your endpoints. We got all that now. Like that's just you get that out of the box. You throw Jamf Pro on the device, you know who's using it right away when they register it. You get Jamf Protect on the device, you know that what the status of gatekeeper is on the device, which you can't get pretty much any other way. You need all of it. Thoughts, feelings, emotional outbursts from anybody else? What do you think on that? I mean, even just like the little things we announced with compliance benchmarks this year at JNUC is a huge example of why we're a security company.
Yeah, you definitely want to think about how the organizations you're partnering with are helping you reduce your risk exposure. And so I'm sure we're going to talk more about that throughout the rest of this podcast.
Beth, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say you actually have it from both sides because you're not just you're not just developing software, you're actually running a huge company too.
Yeah, I think we've grown our product portfolio a lot. I've been here 6.5 years, and it has been quite a ride. It is the harmonizing of management and security. And compliance benchmarks is the perfect example of those are things our customers need. We made it easier for how and where you can find that information and take action on it. And so our teams are working more closely together, looking at the intersectionality between management and security and getting you the capabilities you need that allows you to get to the outcomes that you need more quickly. So you don't have to go to a different console for a certain capability. That was, Veronica mentioned JNUC. It is my favorite time because we really get to be close and up personal with our customers. And I bring a group of engineers that just meet with them, listen to them, get their feedback, figure out how and where they want to be able to get to the workflows that are going to make their jobs easier. So I definitely see those two spaces that were maybe a little distinct when we first started them. They're converging every day. And the teams are working together to say, hey, I have this. How are you doing that? And bringing things together that are going to make it easier to use just Jamf.
I want to unpack that a bit because I think you're onto something there, Beth. And you had mentioned cheat code. And I'm a gamer. I know a lot of our listeners are IT managers, directors, but also nerds and gamers too. And it's like, if you can have that cheat code to compliance, like, why wouldn't you take it? For a lot of organizations, compliance benchmarks doesn't really exist baked in and easy to find for Mac. It just doesn't. Maybe exists on the Windows side and it might be assumed it exists on the Mac, but that's not the case. That's not reality. So people then find later on they have to do a ton of manual work. They've got to either take away resources to just kind of go through one by one. So the nice thing is that we have that cheat code available, compliance benchmarks, to help with that. And I think that's really exciting and a huge differentiator because, to Veronica's point, we want to help with that risk management. I see it a lot. I actually, believe it or not, along in a galaxy long, far away, I used to sell insurance and cybersecurity insurance. Like, oh, I would have loved to have this back then, like 15, 20 years ago, because nowadays it's kind of like, hey, do you have the right locks and keys on your, digital doors to make sure that you are secure before you might have an issue? And I think that's so important that we can help organizations truly figure that out for themselves right away. Aside from that, one of the presenters at JNUC, Dan Lawrence, he was talking about how they use Jamf Protect, and he got a call, like basically a IT 911 call, like, "Hey, did you see the news? Silver Sparrow is hitting corporations left and right. Are we impacted?" And Dan was like, "I don't know. Let me check." And he had an answer within 5 minutes or less. And I think that's a great example of some of the value that, Jamf is bringing to these organizations. Liz, I want to turn it to you. It sounded like you had something to say in addition to what Beth and Veronica were saying. I want to make sure I turn it over to you to add on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only thing I'd add to that is it's all about simplifying work. And all the things that you just mentioned are all about simplifying work. Just the example that you just mentioned is key. And, you can't be successful in your, Apple ecosystem or your Apple device fleet if you're not securing them. And the only way you can secure them is if you have a management solution, right? And you certainly aren't going to manage a device successfully if you're not securing it. So it's kind of comes full circle. And I think what we're like the compliance benchmarks and some of the things that we announced at JNUC was all about making it simpler for our customers to do their work every day and our end users, their experience with their device easier to use. And I think that's, that was probably one of the biggest things that I noticed at JNUC. And I know we're probably moving on to this question now, but it was just really exciting to see our customers so jazzed about making things easier for them. There were a few that were wondering like, well, wait a second, is this gonna like put a threat to my job? And my answer to all those individuals that were asking that question, I was like, no, it's just gonna make you better at your job and make you more efficient. And think about all the other things that you can do when Jamf provides all these easy button, for lack of a better word, easy button options for you to choose from. Just think about all the other things that you can think about and innovate for your organization.
It all helps you get promoted.
That's true. That's very true.
There was a great quote back in the day. It's like nobody got fired for picking IBM. I think nobody gets fired for picking Jamf at this point. It's like,
Sean, I was just going to say the same thing. We're on the same page.
I was going to say it's not a contest. None of us are. Also, you all are children. I worked for Data General as my first job. It's like I've been around here forever. But yeah, it's like you don't get fired for picking the industry leader sometimes. And I was looking at the Gartner report the other day and just saw where we sit in there and just went, whoa, hello up there in the upper right corner. That's a good place to be. So that was made me happy. Speaking of JNUC, though, Beth, what you were talking to people, what was the most interesting thing you heard out of JNUC, either as for us as an organization or from things that you heard from customers as what they're interested in?
We received a lot of great feedback on what we showed during the keynote, which was based on a lot of feedback from customers way back in the day. So I kind of mentioned how the power of engineering is bringing together the different products and the different backgrounds and thinking through how do we build what we're calling kind of platform, just Jamf, or capabilities that can help to make management and security easier. So things like blueprints, things like telemetry. You heard a lot about what our Jamf Threat Labs is doing and how they're bringing together the information we need to have to make sure you are secure. So it was a great validation as well as just really direct feedback. That customer base will tell you what we got right. They'll tell you what they want to see better. And they want to see things that are easy. They want to have things that are simple. we're doing that. We're experimenting with them with various beta programs. And then I kind of mentioned before, we bring a group of engineers with, and they're from all over. They're from our office in Brno and our office in Katowice, Poland, and the ability to just be at these booths and be at the product booth that we had. We come back with all that information, and then we take it into our next planning increment, and we say, what do we hear? How can we adapt, and how can we get better? So it's kind of rocket fuel for us in terms of motivation and inspiration. It was a fantastic event.
One other thing that I thought was really cool about JNUC this year, and I've had the opportunity to go to every single JNUC except one, which I was out on medical leave, but this one felt like our customers were innovating at a very fast pace based on their engagement with Jamf. We talked to retail customers who are really looking to up level their foot traffic experience with how they check out a customer from at a point of sale perspective, how Jamf allows their employees on the floor to be more focused on their customers. I thought that was like just a really fascinating real world example of just when you make work simpler, how much more it has an effect on the business and the outcomes. I talked to another organization that has something called a clean room. And they have to do a clean room because they're in the pharmaceutical world. And it's really where somebody comes in and they're dressed head to toe, no skin, no anything showing. And they have to move at a very slow pace, like literally physical moves, like think about like slow motion, right? Because when they move too fast, they kick up too much dust or dirt. And so they were leveraging our technology with the Apple Watch to be able to measure how fast somebody was moving in the clean room. And it was just fascinating to me to see, oftentimes you think about like, what's the iPhone doing? And is it secure? And what's the login experience? But it's not just that. It's all the things you can do with the Apple devices it was like so inspiring to me to see all this really cool innovation. I talked to one other customer in the education space, and they were leveraging it for not only their students, but their teachers, their faculty, making sure that their students could learn faster in a safer environment. It was just, I was so inspired by our Jamf Nation community on all the things that they're doing to better not only their individual perhaps an IT organization or security organization, but really thinking about being on the forefront of making the business just better for their customers or for their users. It was really, really fascinating for me.
It's not a contest, but Liz, you described my very first college internship. I had to wear a full bunny outfit. And I know it's ironic being a rabbit that I had to wear a bunny suit, but it was way back the day. Plumicon tubes for television cameras. We're talking like full class 100 clean room facility. I got to do. So, you're preaching to the choir for me. I don't know. There's some nerd who's listening to this. One of our 7 listeners is going to know what a Plumicon tube was, and they're going to reach out to me, I hope. Yeah, info@jamf.com and say, send this to Rabbit. So
I don't even know how to spell that if I wanted to Google it. So I'm struggling on that one.
It's spelled exactly like it sounds. You got it. I believe in you. Oh, let's speaking of completely unrelated subjects, I propose switching topics totally here. Benyo hates it when I call it spicy clippy. AI is real. First question, have you created any good abominations with Apple Intelligence yet and the image playground? Because I've got some great ones that I've made. And second, what do we think about AI and what's happening with Jamf and AI?
Well, Sean, you said it was out of the blue, but I think actually, Liz had mentioned Apple. She had mentioned being innovative. So I think we do have a tie-in to AI. I have not played around with the image playground. My friend Eric, who listens to this, he did. And I'm a little offended, first off, by the version of me that was created that is a complete abomination. But I'm more offended because I had braces growing up because I had a gap tooth, and in the picture, had a gap tooth in the picture he made of me. And I don't even know what to say to
I
that.
fixed this problem. It's like, why did AI bring
How
this
did
back?
AI know I had a gap tooth once? And my parents spent thousands on braces. So yeah, that's my experience so far with AI. But on a, I guess, more professional Jamf level, hey executives, what are we doing?
I feel like I missed an opportunity because we have Sean's last name's Rabbit, my last name's Tschida. We should have used AI to come up with some kind of a cheetah rabbit hybrid to kind of highlight that.
Yeah,
Well,
we're just naming this episode the one with the furries in it. That's just how this is. It's all good.
You're right. We have a rabbit and a cheetah on the call. I
Yeah,
love it.
and a cat, another cat too. It's like,
yeah, we're kind of representing. I can give you a feel for AI. I don't think I go to any meetings where I'm not asked about AI and how is that solving and what is it going to solve? What is it taking over the world? And there is, it's Skynet or it's a nothing burger or somewhere in the middle. And we have been working hard in this space to be hard at work making it pragmatic and going right back to customer centricity. How could we leverage this technology to solve problems, not create something just to say we have AI, but figure out how do you leverage AI to make us better in the jobs that we have. And so we had an opportunity at JNUC to announce AI assistant and how we're really looking at training our AI assistant on all the documentation we have here, all the information we have here. And even if you missed JNUC, going back to all the sessions and loading that into our AI assistant. So if you couldn't get to all the sessions, that goodness, all of the materials and all the sharing that we have on Jamf Nation is put into what we're calling AI assistant, which will help you navigate what it is you want to do and then build on that to demystify some of the complexity on security. If you had an assistant that would help you, what does this mean? What does this mean to me? How can I make the actions you might need to take in your job easier? So we're going from show me how to do it to, hey, could you do that for me? But in a way that we're really working with our customer base. So we are launching our beta this week. For those people that came to us at JNUC and say, hey, I want to help. I want to look at this. I want to help us make that better. We're working through that. And then throughout 2025, we'll be building out our AI assistant with knowledge skills that will be an opportunity for you to have AI assisted workflows that should help you be better at your job. And I think the key to AI, in my opinion, is it shouldn't replace humans. It should make the humans better at what they're doing. And it will always be an option because that was one of the questions I got at JNUC. Am I compelled to use this? Do I have to use this? I used to work in insurance too, Kat. So some industries move quicker, some move a little slower, and we have to meet our customers where they are with the help that will make them better in their roles. And so I'm super excited for what the team's been working on. And I think it's going to help us make Jamf even more simple to use and to get to what you need to and to traverse whatever questions you might have to get you the right answer right when you need it most.
And what most impresses me, Beth, from the work that the AI team at Jamf has done is like how ethics comes into play and how making sure that we're using it responsibly is really the first filter, right? It has to be something that adds value, but that is ethical in nature. And I think that runs through Jamf's genes when we think about ethical actions and how we think about things. That runs through our Compete program too. And so I'm really proud of the AI team at Jamf for making that a priority and making it purposeful when they're building something, because we know we've got some competitors out there building, AI tools that don't work or don't do it right or don't do much. And so really impactful. And I'm proud to be part of Jamf right now. It's a great time.
I feel like Mugatu from Zoolander right now, like AI, it's so hot right now. And but it's right, it's making it though work. How are we being effective and helping our customers and our partners be efficient with it? I see the AI hashtag all over the place on LinkedIn, but I think a lot of people are kind of just running at the coattails and realizing they've been late to the game, when the nice thing is we've been working on it and we've shown up and we're being effective with it to help basically anyone using our solutions just be more efficient. And I think we're only at the beginning, so I'm excited to see where we go with this. Any other final thoughts on AI? I've got Sean and I have two final questions that we want to run through, but any other thoughts, comments on AI for the bunch?
You're not tech tip from Matthew Phillips, one of my fellow coworkers here at CE at Jamf, is if you want to make Apple's image playground just create the most beautiful abominations, tell it to make a dolphin with a unicorn horn. AI just cannot figure that out. It's so much fun. Try it on any of the models.
Isn't that a narwhal? That exists.
It should be, but what does it create? I'll send you some samples later. It's amazing.
So I want to kind of bring us back to the beginning a little bit. This whole time we've been talking about Jamf, where we are in the marketplace. We've been listing off the reasons, kind of why us, what we're doing differently. But now we're going to get a little personal. Why would you pick Jamf? Why would you pick it? You know, if someone is out there right now, they're listening to this, they're reading the blog post summary of this, they're evaluating options, and if you were in those shoes, why would you pick us over any other option? And I'm going to start with our chief sales officer, because why not, for a sales question?
I think that there's a lot of technology out there in the world that can help organizations. People like to buy from people, first of all, and they want to be treated as if they are a valued partner. And I think Jamf does a really good job with that in our sales cycle. And when we're talking to customers, both prospects and existing customers, we really, back to what Beth says, we really value our customers and very, very much take a customer-centric approach to everything that we do. Everything. Okay, take the fluffiness out. If I were to look at like some of the technology and like what's important in the world right now, there is an extreme interest in thinking about customers' mobile fleets. We talked about management and security. There's a lot of data that goes through an iPhone or an iPad, a lot of data. What is their risk profile for their mobile fleet, whether it's bring your own device or corporate or organization issued? A lot of customers are trying to figure out what that posture is. You know, I think a lot of customers really understand and have a kind of a plan for their Macs. A lot of customers are having a hard time or trying to figure out what their plan is for their mobile fleet. So I'm talking about iPhones and iPads. I love our mobile security option. I think it's fantastic. It's all encompassing. It is a true differentiator for all the right reasons, making sure that we're simplifying work, but also securing everyone. I really would get really excited about our mobile security solution for sure.
Always on network relay. Oh my God. On mobile, it is absolutely heavenly. Try it if you haven't already. Hit up like your Jamf sales rep and just ask what the heck that is if you don't know what I'm talking about. VPN that you don't have to do anything to. It just turns on at the MDM level. It's so choice.
It's a beautiful thing.
I got a little
For
passionate.
sure.
Yes. Sorry, I got a little passionate there. I apologize.
I'm with you, Sean. I share the same passion.
I think that's a really mobile security is a really great reason as to like why to choose Jamf. Veronica, I'm curious. You spend a lot of time with field and research, so I feel like I would just be so interested in your perspective on why if you're out shopping for MDM and security, why would Veronica pick Jamf?
Good question. And I'm not going to take this opportunity to give away all our secrets, but from Veronica's perspective, if you haven't seen Inside Out 2, you should watch it. My primary emotion is absolutely anxiety. I war game every situation, and so I want to be prepared for anything that is to come. And so I think when it comes to a Jamf perspective or like a device management solution, Jamf can help you in any scenario that comes. And so if I were to be looking at what's available in the market, a lot of these folks are going to fall short. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to run into a scenario where an executive needs something and you can't deliver. And so for me, I know Jamf is going to help me get promoted because I'm going to be able to war game any situation that comes to play.
So that's a really interesting view from that admin's perspective and like the long game of the value and contributions they're bringing to that organization through our solution. I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that answer before. Beth, how about you? You're in the lot for MDM and security. There's so many options. Why would you pick Jamf?
Well, we said our affinity for cheat codes, so I like high and right. Like you can't go wrong. And I know how the sausage is made. So I have confidence in the products that we have, but I would like to have one company that I can just get the job done with. And Jamf meets all of those needs. So having it high and right, anytime I've worked in my previous roles, that is the first place you go. And you want to go with the best. And then you want to make sure you don't have to have this proliferation of solutions that try and get little pieces done. So having trusted access with one, that's what I would be looking for. And that's why I would choose Jamf.
I'll just kind of put a bow on it. I've been on the partner side where we chose Jamf, and I obviously chose to work here, so obviously we're all biased at this table. But I think objectively, if I turned back time and I was in the shopping mode for MDM, one, a lot of places out there are not doing mobile security. To Liz's point, uh, and I'll even go further saying they're not doing it for both corporate owned and bring your own device. So it's one of those things where if you're being kept up at night because people have access to work like objects through their personal or corporate phone and it's not secured, that's a problem. And I think for me, realistically, while we focus a lot on Apple, Apple isn't the whole story for a lot of IT admins. And I think the one thing I appreciate is knowing that, I want something that's going to work well for Apple, and I want something that's going to also play nice with Windows. So I love that we have integrations with Microsoft. And to me, that's just so important because, we've got Intune out there that is the backbone for Windows. We've got Jamf out there that's the backbone for Apple, and they talk to each other. And I think that's so important when you're looking holistically from that perspective. We can feed that data into, uh, Sentinel. We can have it talk to Azure. There's just a lot that we're covering there, and I think that just creates that picture when you're looking at the whole piece of that IT landscape. So, final question for you both. We're near the end of the year. We're not there yet, but what can listeners anticipate for with Jamf in 2025? I know we're public. I know we can't share everything, but what can people think about going into the new year with Jamf?
Robots, lasers, robots with lasers. I think we announced those at JNUC, right?
Narwhals.
Narwhals with lasers. That's what it was. Yeah.
Narwhals with lasers. I'll start. I am really excited about our customers. We're really leaning into, and we've publicly spoken about our intention to scale our business with our channel, and we are heavily leaning into making those relationships just sing and be very seamless between Jamf, our partners, and our customers. I'm really excited about that. I'm super excited about our partnership with AWS and Microsoft. I think those are really critical and really speak to our customer base with our partnerships as well. So again, I think that what that boils down to is having our customers be able to buy from who they want, where they want, and have it be simple. So I'm really excited about that.
Veronica, how about you?
I know that a lot of you out there, Jamf customers, admins, are facing pressure from your leaders around saving on cost. And so just know that Jamf, our sales team, our customer success team, we're here to help you in that conversation. And so if you're struggling to make the case for why Jamf, because we know you love it, reach out to us. We're here to help you make that case.
Appreciate you all being here today. And just as a heads up, too, speaking of meeting customers where they are, and you mentioned Microsoft and AWS, we will be at Microsoft Ignite this year, as well as AWS reInvent. So I personally will be at AWS reInvent. Drop me a message on LinkedIn if you want to say hi. I'll be there in Vegas. And some folks who won't be there, but will be there in love and spirit, though. Liz, Beth, and Veronica, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate y'all taking the time to have a little conversation with all 7 of our listeners.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kat.
Thanks for having us.
Well, that's one more today in the books, but I got a tech tip for you, Kat.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Jamf Pro 1111. It goes to 11 so much we named it twice. Has dropped. And inside of Jamf Pro 1111, there is now a new MDM payload for Managed Device Attestation. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can now have from the MDM and a verification from Apple that this UUID and this serial number really does exist in the world, and it's a real device. This is going to be really interesting for anybody who's got anything for conditional access policies inside of Microsoft, or any sort of Okta device access policies, for example. You can use this as part of a smart computer group to say, yeah, that's a real device, not one that's faking it out with a VM. So that's available to you today. If you are on Jamf Pro 11.11, check it out. It is in the security tab under your computer's inventory. Very cool stuff.
I love it. Thank you for that.
And with that, I think we wrap it on up. So Jamf After Dark is a podcast from Jamf, and it's copyright, and this might be the last time I say it this year. I'm not entirely sure, but there might be one more. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved. Technical details and product offerings may change at any time. So always check jamf.com for our latest information on our products and services.
You can reach out to us if you have questions or comments or suggested show topics, and we love fan mail. Simply send a friendly email to info@jamf.com with the subject line, attention to the podcast. We are also a sponsor of the Mac Admins Foundation, and several Jamfs are available on the Mac Admins Slack channel. And of course, if you need support, visit support.jamf.com to open a ticket and get your technical questions answered.
Special thanks to our guests this week, Liz, Beth, Veronica. Special thanks also to our audio engineers, Merlin and Martin. Martin's spinning the dials today. Much appreciated for making us sound great. Until next time, for Kat Garbus, I'm Sean Rabbit.
And for Sean Rabbit, I'm Kat Garbus. We will catch you after dark again. Good night, good morning, good day, goodbye.
Buy your mom an iPhone.